What's up, everybody? Justin here. I am back. I know it's been a while. In the last video I said it wasn't going to be a while, but that's how things happen. So, regardless, I'm back. More CD collection. Couple things. You can see I am on the sofa again, but I have rearranged my entire room, and this sofa is on a different part, and we're going to try this for a little while. So, first, we are listening to Volan with Ak Ab Al. This is their second full length, came out year before last. Volan, of course, is a black metal band from Southern California. They're part of the Black Twilight Circle, that whole group of Mexican heritage musicians playing mostly black metal, and Volan is kind of the ringleader of the group, I guess. I don't know. I got into Volan real early on. I came across the first full length somewhere, and I bought the LP when it came out, and I love it. It's really really intricate black metal. He plays these really weird, angular, snaky riffs, but it's also super violent and kind of otherworldly sounding. Of all of the Black Twilight Circle stuff, I like Volan the best. I really like Blue Hummingbird on the left. But regardless, I saw Volan 3 or 4 years ago here in Atlanta. The Black Twilight Circle did a tour, and it was literally 5 bands with the same 6 guys, and they would just trade instruments for every set. But then Volan played here in Atlanta a couple of nights ago. They're on tour right now with Mortuary Drape, and I really like. I've listened to Mortuary Drape for years, Italian black metal band, and Volan was great. I bought this tape there. I have the first album on LP, but they were awesome. The only drawback to them was you couldn't hear a lot of the intricate stuff he's doing on the guitar live. It was real kind of blown out, but the overall live experience was fucking awesome. So to talk about that show a little bit, again, I didn't do a show review, a show experience video. I don't know how I'm going to do those. I enjoyed doing the first one. It kind of worked out that night. But I don't want to be that guy talking into my phone or talking into my camera at a show all night. I don't want to be that guy. I'd rather just come back and tell you about them. Mortuary Drape was great. I've listened to them for a long time. If you're not familiar with them, they're kind of a ritualistic sounding black metal band. They go back 30 years. Most infamously, their first album, All the Witches Dance, has a picture of an exhumed corpse on it that supposedly the members of the band dug up themselves and took pictures of. And live they were great, but it was weird seeing this infamous, obscure band in such a live public setting in Atlanta, Georgia. I just never thought it would happen, and it was weird, but they were great. They were really, really good. But there's a local band here in Atlanta called Vimir, and I'll link them below. Vimir opened, and in my opinion, they blew everybody away. They play kind of a very riffy, kind of spacey, almost like cosmic style of black metal. It's almost like mid-era Emperor with no keyboards. But it's just, man, they're so fucking good. But their drummer is one of the fastest fucking drummers and hardest hitting and fast drummers I've ever seen live. I was just transfixed on him fucking playing the drums. God damn, he was sick. But check out Vimir. I'll put them below. I hope that they are on their way to everybody knowing their fucking name. So, into the CDs. First, I talked about this band very recently, and let's see what you think. we have Ghost. So, Ghost is very, very controversial in the metal scene. There are lots of kind of die-hard, stoic metalheads that think that Ghost is the worst fucking thing on the earth. But I like them. And as I mentioned in my couple videos ago when I talked about their new album, Ghost hit me at the right point in my life when I needed to listen to something like that. And I don't know what it was. It clicked with me. They play this very, kind of poppy form of occult rock, heavy metal, and they've done nothing but just improve over time. And they're not a metal band, and that's kind of, the members came from the metal scene, and they catered to the metal scene when they started, but they're not a metal band. And yeah, they have a gimmick. They have an extreme gimmick. But I really, 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 really like them. And Tobias Forge is just such an accomplished and talented songwriter. But anyway, so their first album, Opus Eponymous, I have on LP. I never bought the CD. One of these days I'll grab it, but I have the record. But I have their second album, Infinitesimum. And when Infinitesimum came out, the first single, Year Zero, I wasn't crazy about it. And there's a part in that song that has this very circus-sounding timbre to it. And I was like, no, I don't like this shit at all. It is way too, goofy sounding, like circus music. But then I heard another song. The second single was Secular Haze, I think. And it clicked with me. And when this record came out, I got it, and I listened to it over and over and over. And I grew to love it. I think it's great. I think it's a solid second album. Is it the best thing they ever did? No. Is it their worst full length? Maybe. But I love it. So then they put out, I'm trying to think what came first. I think that this EP came out, If You Have Ghost. If You Have Ghost is an EP, and it has a cover on it called If You Have Ghosts by Rocky Erickson. And I'm not a Rocky Erickson fan. I'm not a fan of his version of this, but I heard it after I heard the Ghost version. But if there was any song that sums up Ghost to me, it's If You Have Ghosts. It's so perfect. It's such a killer song. It's a killer cover. And then there are 3 covers on this. There's an ABBA cover, a Depeche Mode cover, and I don't remember who sings Crucified. I don't remember. And then there's a live song. But it's great. I love that song. And I've also listened to this ad nauseum. Or ad infinitum. I don't remember. So their third full length was Meliora. And all these I have on vinyl too. I have all the CDs that I have on vinyl. I'm just missing the first CD on CD. So Meliora, Cerise was the single. And Cerise, when it came out, immediately was my favorite Ghost song. And it's another one of those songs that ticks all the boxes for what Ghost is. And this is when they really, they had refined the gimmick, and they really fell into their groove of their whole kind of theme, the thematic elements of Ghost. But this record's a little more metal compared to the second one. The first one's more metallic sounding. And this is a really dark album compared to the one before it. But there's some heavy riffs on this, and I really enjoy this one. So then this was an EP. This is Pope Star, which I think is a stupid fucking title. Pope Star came out 2016. And it has one new song, Square Hammer. And Square Hammer, again, is this fucking killer standalone Ghost track, man. It's everything that's good about Ghost. And then 4 cover songs. And it's 4 covers from bands I had never heard of. Just really, really obscure European bands. But I've listened to this one a bunch, and I really like it. Oh, there's a Eurythmics cover on this, Missionary Man. Everybody knows who the Eurythmics are, don't you? So anyway, this one's good. I talked about the new one recently. I don't have it on CD either. I'm going to get it. I really like Ghost. If you don't, that's fine. If you like Ghost, let's talk about them. I think that they are a special band. I think they really are. And I think they are poised to either do great things or they're going to kind of taper off and kind of drift off to obscurity one day. I don't know. Next, we have May the Curse Bind by Gast. This came out on Toda Street Records about 10 years ago. Gast is a kind of black doom band. Kind of sludgy black metal. And I really, really like this album. They've got a couple more now. I haven't kept up with them. But I bought this when it came out. Came across it somewhere. And it's good. Gast. And then we have Geestenland. 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 I have no idea what that means. With Grim Funeral. Total Necro Deceased. Don't know. Obscure Abhorrence Productions. I got this on a trade a long time ago. There's the cover with their logo. That's probably the actual front. Maybe I had this in here backwards. I don't know. But I don't know anything about this. Dude and Christ-like black metal. I don't know what that means. Something about death in Christ. I'm assuming that based on that being Dutch, they're Dutch, but they may be German. I don't know. Oh, this is a split. Geestenland and Grim Funeral. Grim Funeral's the other band. That's it. Oh well. I don't know. I got this in a split in a trade from someone one time. I don't remember. I don't know. I'll link it below. I'll link both bands if I can find them. Geestenland and Grim Funeral. Never heard of either since. So, then, Wayne Sarantopoulos making his regularly scheduled visit to my channel, Golgotha. So Wayne is one of my best friends. He plays in a couple of my bands. And several videos ago, I talked about Decrepitaph, which was his death metal band that he did for many years. Wayne moved from Texas to Southern California about 6 years ago. And when he did, he wanted to form a new death metal band. And he formed Golgotha. They are not named after the Catharsis song. It was just a coincidence. So Golgotha started as kind of an extension of Decrepitaph. And their demo, No Peace to Rest In, is 2 songs, No Peace to Rest In and Divine Transcendence. There's the back. They self-released this demo, CDR demo. It's just a one-sided or a 2-sided insert, no fold, one piece of paper. At the time, members of so it was Wayne and then Ian Mann, who is also in Void Ceremony, and then Charlie Corrin, who is now in Funebrarum and Ascended Dead and a bunch of other bands. He's kind of a drummer for hire. They did 100 of these, and I have number 22 of 100. Can you see that? 22 of 100. These 2 songs were the final 2 Decrepitaph songs that he reworked for Golgotha. And they sound like Decrepitaph. They sound like a little more ethereal Decrepitaph. But this went over really, really well. And I have dose copies of it. I also have number 23 of 100. Look at me. Okay, So this was good. I think this also came out on a cassette tape. It was good, and people were like, yeah, more death metal, more Wayne Sarantopoulos death metal. Well, then they released their album on Dark Descent Records, The Death Mask Cloak, and threw everybody for a gigantic loop, because this shit is super fucking skronky and angular, dissonant, obtuse death metal. And this album is one of the best fucking weird death metal albums that has ever been written, and nobody gave a shit. And part of it is, you know, they've toured a little bit. We did an East Coast tour with them after this came out, and then they did a full U.S. tour with Graveland for a few weeks. But it was one of those that Dark Descent put it out, and it kind of just, it came and went and got lumped in with a bunch of other releases. It got overlooked. But man, I'm hoping that, like, down the road, there's going to be another death metal resurgence the way there's one going on right now, and people are going to discover this. And, you know, the Dark Descent records of 20 years from now is going to be like, hey, we want to re-release that. And people are going to give a shit about how awesome it is. And then 60-year-old Wayne will go out there and play a show. I did all of the layout for this, which there's nothing special to it. It's just text on the pages. But Wayne writes these really, really, like, stream of consciousness, nightmarish dream state lyrics. They're really fucking deep and ethereal, but under the lyrics, he has written explanations that kind of enlighten them a little bit. It's like more lyrics that aren't in the song. It's weird, but he has this whole, like, weird brainwave thing going with these songs. But Golgotha is very, very fucking heavy. But they're atonal and they're dissonant and they're stop-starty and lots of really crazy time signatures. But man, it's fucking good. If you like Gorguts Obscura, which, oddly enough, Wayne hates that record. If you like mid-era Deathspell Omega, if you like Atheist and Cynic and Watchtower, but like death metal Watchtower, Golgotha. They have a second record called, I don't remember. I'll put it in the description below. I'll flash it on the screen right here. That I also did the layout for, and I never got a copy of it from Wayne. I'll have to hit him up for one. But then Ian moved for college, and Charlie moved for, he moved to Portland, and he owns a recording studio there. And Golgotha is no more. So after Golgotha was no more, Wayne started Gloomed. And again, this is a total departure. He got really into doom, kind of like traditional doom. And Gloomed is a traditional doom band. It's called Initial Offering. This is a demo limited to 100 copies. The same, just a one double-sided insert. I did the artwork for it, which is, you know, I kind of like that. And I did the back artwork for him. And all the layout. But if you like Candlemass and Black Sabbath, Gloomed is great. But unfortunately, they lost their singer shortly after this came out. They decided to go opposite directions, and I have 2 copies of this one too. But I'll put a link below. It's good. I believe that Wayne and the other member that's left from Gloom are now doing a death metal band again. And I'm hoping that it's going to pan out, because what I've heard so far is killer. So, got a couple more. We have Goatfire with Fiendish Ruminations. This came out on Total Holocaust Records. This is a demo collection, and that's all I remember about it. I want to say that this is really, really necrotic, fucking grim, barely listenable black metal, but I'll have to get reacquainted with it. Goatfire. And then next to last, we have Gnaw Their Tongues. Oh, we have Gnaw Their Tongues with Spit at Me and Wreak Havoc on My Flesh. Gnaw Their Tongues is kind of like a power electronic noise group, project, act. And I had heard a little bit of their stuff. I have a split 10-inch they did with someone, I don't remember. And then I just bought this randomly. I wanted to get into Gnaw Their Tongues. And they play this really, nasty kind of death industrial, martial industrial power electronic stuff. And it's noisy and percussive. It's really, really scary sounding, if music can sound scary. Or they're one of these bands that have an exhaustive catalog, and it's hard to get into all of it. But I ordered this CD. It has a casket on the back, which I think is cool because I'm a funeral director. And inside is a note from the label guy. Hey Justin, thanks for your order. Enjoy the CD. P.S. I admire some of your graphic work. So thank you. I like that he said some of it. Does that mean some of it's shitty? It is. Last, Goat Lord. With Reflections of the Solstice and The Last Sodomy of Mary. Nuclear War Now put these out years ago, 10, 12 years ago. Goat Lord was a black metal band from Las Vegas. You don't see many of those from the mid-'80s. And they are kind of like a black thrash death metal hybrid. Back before there was so much division and everything. Think Venom, Slayer, all that rolled into one. Kind of rough around the edges. But I haven't listened to these much. This band didn't click with me the way that they have with some people. I know that they have a cult following. And I haven't listened to these in a long, long time. I'll throw them on and see how they do now. But I've always liked their imagery. I love that logo. I love that old Moyen artwork. But I want to say there's the original artwork for this one, which looks fucking awesome too. And the main guy from this band, Joe Franklin, I think is his name. Several years ago, he died. But did he die? Or it also came out that he was a kid toucher? Maybe? I don't remember. I'll have to look it up around myself. Anyway, that's it. That's everything for this round. My Volon tape is over. My coffee is lukewarm. And my voice is hoarse. I have been sick for the past week. That's another reason I've been making videos. I've had this upper respiratory thing going on, which fucking sucks. It's 100 goddamn degrees outside. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to have some more videos. I'm going to try to do these quicker, back to a regular pace. People have been asking me when's the next video. So let's keep talking about this stuff. Let's keep talking about music. And like, share, subscribe, do it all. Tell your friends. I'll talk to you guys later.